G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at the Unique Toys Buzzing, their take on Blurr, and of course his target master Haywire that I have no third-party name for. So here he is. Now, a little story, not a lot, little one. So I did try to keep my eyes out for fans toys, because a lot of my collection, especially basically my third parties, is fans toys or a little bit of KFC and a bit of X-Transbots. So this is my first Unique Toys. I've never owned a Unique Toys figure before. So I was looking for fans toys Blurr, because I really wanted a Blurr to try and put another hole from my season 3 out of the way. And I saw Unique Toys show up on a listing. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to get him instead or still wait for fans toys. And a lot of, from what I saw and watching some videos, I'm like, oh my God, the fans toys looks just nightmarish. So I'm not going to get the fans toys. So I saw Buzzing and I'm like, yeah, why not? I haven't got a Unique Toys. I'll get it for, first try. Now, this is the re-release with the clear chest. I would have preferred the one with the white chest. And I admit at one point I was thinking of getting a bit of A4 paper, just white A4 paper just sticking in there, but I never got around to it. So he does have some accessories. He has... picked up the wrong one. He does come with this transformation cog, which I'm assuming is meant to be a reference to when they were activating Metroplex in Season 3. By the way, just for the sake of comparison, here is the transformation cog that comes with Bad Cube Piper, their pipes. So, I think that one might stay in the box. He does come with an alternative face, more of a face. Honestly, I would have liked the smirk, because that one's stone, and that one looks like he's confused. To put that on, and I haven't done it myself because I didn't feel the need to, you basically have to unscrew this and pull that off and then replace the face. So it's not just a simple matter of popping it off. He does come with a card, which is quite nice. It does, however, use the original releases artwork, not the reissue. Comes with instructions that are a bit meh, to be honest. There is some steps that feel a bit missing. So there we go. And of course, he does come with Haywire, which honestly is the most disappointing target master I've got. And now, admittedly, I've got mostly fans toys and some legends. So he looks good in robot mode. He's an absolutely atrocious in gun mode. So we'll get to that in a second. I think that's it. Now, one thing with Buzzing is his gun's loose. Unfortunately, at least not to this point, and I can't say for later releases because I don't have any, they didn't use the tab in the palm. They just used the friction from closing the fist. So his hand will be very wibbly-wobbly. So we'll get to that in a second. Now, I will do this because we'll get the Haywire. We'll do the articulation, then we'll do Haywire. But I will point out that mine is broken. I would recommend, if you get this guy for your robot mode and you have no intention of transforming him, just leave him in robot mode. Because if you transform him even once, this is going to snap. And it's the transformation's fault. It really is. But I will get to that when we get to that. All right, so articulation. Head can do a full 360. It can look up. It can look down. There's no side to side. There's no ball joint. Arms have a sort of softish ratchet. Arms can go out so far. We have bicep rotation. We have technically a double jointed elbow. To get you that far. I think the original release of this, and I'll have to rewatch some old reviews, but I remember hearing something about this having a spring in it, but I've never noticed it. And obviously, when it pulls back all the way, you have to, re-angle that. So drop the camera a little bit. He has wrist rotation, nothing at the thumb, pin knuckle, although the index finger is separate, but it's all typewriter fingers. He has waist rotation, no ab crunch. I don't know how this is going to work, but he has leg gets you out that far. You can flip up the skirts, which are mine are very tight because I haven't used them. And there's nothing at the back. So leg goes up that far. Leg goes back that far. You have upper thigh rotation because that's just for rolling. If you get this guy out of the box and you're confused about why the transformation tells you to do this, it's because when it comes out of the box, at least mine, you are supposed to push it up first. So I'll point that again when we get to transformation. He has double jointed knee to get you that far, so here and here. Technically there's a joint here, but that's transformation. Toe goes up way far. I'll try to get the camera down a bit more. Doesn't go really back. There's a teeny tiny bit of ankle tilt due to this not being able to move. But yeah, pretty stable, not too heavy, not a lot of weight to him. The A stance can be a little bit wide, but I usually just have him standing straight up, and he's not very heavy, back heavy. It's relatively flat, so to speak, even though yes, you have all this, but it's not too bad. So yeah, first unique toys, I'm not complaining too much ish. All right, so what I might do is I'm going to bring in his box just to make this a little bit easier. So hopefully I can focus it. It's upside down. Once again, the box displays the first issue. So we take his gun. So we'll do Haywire. So you have his normal gun, and you need to, where is it? Always forget which part separates where. So that's going to come back, and that just popped off anyway. So all this comes off, and we have two separate bits. Now, I'm trying to think if Haywire was partly transformed when I got him. But honestly, the transformation is not bad. Actually, let's do the articulation for him first. So arm rotates that way. Nothing out, a little bit in. Nothing at the head. You have bicep bend, which is rather tight. Nothing at the fingers, hands, or anything like that. You do have waist swivel, and you have an at crunch backwards, which is more for transformation. Get that out of the way. Leg goes out that far. Leg goes up that far. Leg goes back that far. You have a single jointed knee that gets you pretty far. Nothing at the feet, although this one does swing, and that's more for transformation. Shall we do it? Yeah, let's just do it. Put that back a little bit. So, try to keep him focused. Here he is with Scorchfire, which is, of course, Windblade's Titan Master. Here he is with Recoil, who is Fans Toys Cups Tiger Master. Here he is with MP10. So there we go. And of course, if you've seen the title card, you would have noticed how big he is with Blurr. All right, so let's get him transformed and bring everything in again, so we can try to keep things focused. Now, I always forget which way this has got to go. So we need to bend this back, and we want to, which one is it? I think it's this one. So these are going to come, I think these come up. No, they come the other, they go the other way. Does it? Yeah, it goes backwards. All right, so we want the swingy one to the front, like so. We can bring this out, And we can rotate this. So this is like this. We want to, or is it forward? I'm sure it's backwards. No, it's got to be forwards, because otherwise that joint doesn't work. It's got to be backwards. I just did this not long ago too. Because what we need to do is we need to tab these in. So have I got it the wrong way round? I'm just trying to think. I'm sure it was the other way. I'm sure it was forward. But it can't be forward. God, just when I thought I had this worked out, because there's no bicep rotation. Oh, I know what it is. Raise his arms up first. Rotate this around once again so we have this all here. We can then rotate this back, and then you have these tabs that are going to go into here. I'll turn the light a little bit. That's what I was going to do. I was going to get another tool too. All right, so it's going to go into here. So flip that back, flip that up, and actually, do we need to? Yeah, we need to rotate this way. All right, so you need this little wobbly bit at the top. So we try to find where those tabbing points are. Is it? Have I got? Oh, I see. I'm going absolutely terrible this one. Because that's got to go down. That's got to go that way. That's got to go that way. So is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, did I? God, I think I've got this all the way around the wrong way, honestly. So I'll just fold these down. I apologize. All right, so this way, this is what we want. So we want to bring this down at the knee, just to give some clearance. This comes down, this comes up, so we have those two ports. So yes, I knew I was going to screw something up. I just couldn't remember what I was going to do. So that goes up there. Get this up here. And tab into both sides. Nice and secure like. I think I got them. Yep. Now, this is a bit stupid. It doesn't quite work. But you rotate this around, and that's going to go over that port. It doesn't really tab in. So you have something like this. Then you take what's left of Blurr's gun. You have this tab that goes into this port. So that gives us our barrel, like so. Then you take what's left of the back end, and you have, where are we? This piece is going to go into the back of here. So that's going to all sit in there, providing things don't move on me. Try to get those arms tabbed back in. And there is Haywire in his target master mode that, yeah, it's what it is. Turn the light off because we don't need it now. And we'll just bring Blurr in for this. And I admit, I don't display most of my figures with their associates attached, except for KFC's Ape Face, because honestly, I couldn't decide which mode to keep him in. So you just use friction, grip his fingers as tight as possible to keep that in. So there's no tabs, there's no ports. You can hold him, but honestly, I think that target master mode just looks absolutely atrocious. I reckon that looks like absolute shit. You could disagree with me, but that's just the feeling I get with it, honestly. So we'll take that off, and we might as well get Haywire. Oh, by the way, just for the sake of it, because it's here, drop the camera down a little bit. There he is with Windblade. So it's about as long as Windblade, but yeah, nah. All right, so let's get him transformed back so we can just leave him in his robot mode. We'll bring that back in to help us with a little bit of focus. So pop that off to get that back off. If you have trouble with this, I suppose you could just sort of move that a little bit, but that comes off pretty good. We're going to untab these. Might as well get these out of the way first. Then we want to swing this around. Like I said, that doesn't tab in anywhere. We can then bring this around so we got some clearance and fold that back in. Bring that down. Make sure you have this piece at the front when you roll it down. Angle it so his feet are going to be the right way. Bring him up. Rotate his arms down. And there is Haywire. Wait, Haywire, Jesus. Haywire. I'm trying to memorize Windblade's Titan Master, so now I'm calling them all the wrong ones, but there is Haywire in his robot mode. I'll just quickly put his gun back together because we will need it for his alt mode for the most part. There we go. So we put that to the side. All right, let's get Blurr transformed. Now, the transformation isn't too bad, really. It takes just a little bit of memorizing, but for the most part, it's fine. Get that finger tucked away under his thing, yeah, that goes under. I know there's paint stuff on there, so that's going to be a little bit iffy. Anyway, so let's start with the top, and then we'll get to hit the bottom. So what you're going to do is we just want to bring all this up out of the way to give us a bit of clearance. You're going to pop this back. It is a little tight, so just be careful. You can pop this up, bring these out for a bit more clearance, and bring that down. So this port here, I'm going to have to put in the light on. This port here, tab here, is going to port in there. All right. Next, you're going to get the head started. So you're going to lift up. Once again, things are tight. So just try your best not to go absolutely nuts. So you have these two ports that actually tab under his head. Now, the instructions don't quite show this, but I suggest rotating his head. And I'll show you why in a minute. So what you're going to do also is you're going to flip. Do I need to get those down first? I might. I think I do. So we're going to come in here. They'll be a little bit tight. And just fold these back. And fold these back. And then we can flip the chest up. Like so. Alright, so we're going to bring all this up for now. I'm going to swing these around for the most part. And I'll fix something else up in a second. Now, let's deal with the head. So you fold this in here, right? And then what you've got to do is you've got to get past here. If you leave it, like how the instructions somewhat show, where it's facing this way, and you try to collapse that, you are going to make contact with the front of his mohawk. I don't know how damaging that's going to be because you're also going to be scraping along here. So what I did was I left it this way. So that gets you through past here and into here, which I think is where it's supposed to go. The problem is that the force of unplugging the chest plate when you get it back into robot mode will catch onto that mohawk and will tear the back half off. So I have two choices for you. Either A, leave it alone and leave it in robot mode, or B, cut that mohawk off a little bit before you do, because at least you've taken off what will break mostly off anyway, and at least more giant chips will not get broken off. So we fold that in like so. Now it also tells you to rotate the hands. I don't do that. I don't do that. I'll show you why in a minute. I'll even show the instructions. All right, so we're going to do, well, we'll fix up this front area, right? No problem with tall bots. So you fold this out all the way. You fold this out all the way. And then you slide them in so they meet the middle. And you tab all that in. Then you come up here, you have these two tabs that are going to go under the chest. I've just popped that head back off. And that tabs up, nice and secure like. Now I'm going to rotate the elbows, and I'm going to also have to rotate the forearms. So that fills all this in. Now I'm just trying to remember to make sure I've got the right way around, because this is going to come into here. So I should have left the elbow. So leave the elbow alone. Now I'm not going to plug anything in just yet. I just want to make sure I've got the proper clearance for it. So same thing. This is going to come into here. You're going to rotate this downwards. So this will sit like this. Now we can probably actually plug that in. I just don't want to put the hands where they are yet. So you have these ports here that go into these tabs. So as long as they line up, you're right. There is a little bit of, what would you call it? I wouldn't say that it's friction, and I wouldn't say clearance issue, because it's not necessarily a clearance issue. So there is that. All right, so we might as well get some of this backpack done. What you're going to do is you're going to flip this up. You're going to flip this up. We can bring this down, and here's the back of his vehicle. That all slides through. All right. And there is a tab, and it's not going to feel good, but you need to tab that onto there. So it's just a matter of getting your fingers in the right way so it'll actually tab into place. There we go. Like I said, does not feel good. It's not terrible, but it doesn't feel good. Slide this up, flip this out, and slide that back down. We'll leave that where it is for the moment. All right, let's get with the legs. So as I said before, if you get this guy like mine was, his knees are going to be like this. Now that does free up this movement, but that's not supposed to be part of the vehicle, the robot mode. So just make sure that lines up properly, slide that up, and you're fine. So what we're going to do is slide them both down, because I don't want them actually attached there. I'm going to leave this. It shows you earlier to do it. I'm going to leave this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the feet. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip up to get all this out of his feet. You're going to flip this up. It has a rotation there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to flip it out. None of this feels good out of the box. You'll just have to get comfortable with it. Now this piece, I always forget how it's going to orientate. So I'm just going to rotate it, and I'm going to bring it out just for now. And I'm just, honestly, right now, I'm just trying to remember how that sits. So I will have to remember that when we get to it. All right, so next we're going to do this piece. Now you will need, and I didn't bring my part separator in here. You will need a part separator, because the first time this is really, really tight. But you want to flip that out all the way. So there is your thruster. Now this is why I needed another tool. Where are we? Okay. Yeah, some of my tweezers should work. So what you're going to do is you've got to pull this out, sort of spinning a little bit. So you're supposed to sort of wiggle it, but just make sure you can get behind there. Don't worry about too much paint loss on this, because you're not going to see it. So that rotates up, and that slides in, and we'll leave that how we want it for now, because we need to do some other things for the legs. So flip up, flip out, flip over, rotate, other way, extend, and we'll leave that like that for now until I can remember which orientation I need. And then we flip. Now this one's a bit tighter. You can try to get into here, but of course you're going to be getting against that piece here. So just be careful, because if you put too much force on that, you're going to break that. So don't go absolutely nuts on it. So it probably would be useful if I was using a different tweezer head, because I tried using my part separator and it just couldn't get in there. So rotate that around. All right, so now we have to start organizing how this works. All right, so we need this bent. I'm just trying to remember which way we go. So it's this way, and then rotate this way. Is it? Or is it the other way around? No, it's the other way around. So rotate that way, that way. So that way we have this hinge. You can get to a certain point where you can close the thruster. So fold out, rotate around, give it a little bend, fold that. All right, so we need to get all this out of the way because we need to get things where they're supposed to go. So what I'm going to do is finish the backpack. So we rotate this down, flip this down. That's going to fill in that little gap. And then I'm just going to compress all this so the backpack's all the way it's supposed to be. Now we need to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. And this is the moment where I try to remember which way that's supposed to sit. Oh, that's right. Yep. Now I remember. So you do have to very awkwardly and uncomfortably fold this back. Like so. It does not feel good on that. So I wouldn't be doing this just like I wouldn't be grabbing this off the shelf and just doing it for the sake of doing it. But you will have this hook tab that's got to go behind here. So you have to fold it up and basically the feet are going to go into here. You do have these ports that go over to that tab. So it's just a matter of lining things up and hoping that things go where they're supposed to. Now with these blue pieces, they're supposed to tab into the backpack. So I'm going to try my best to just sort of angle them up a little bit because I need to get them past where they've actually got a tab in. All right, why are you fighting me? Because I'm getting stuck on these thrusters a little bit. It's probably because I moved the leg. That's why, yeah. I moved that heel too much. Get on there. All right, try to get that up a little bit. It is fiddly. It's not terrible, but it is a little bit fiddly. I think I keep moving that heel instead of the blue piece. All right, I got that in there. Trying to get this under here to hook that in. It will not sit perfectly, but it will get in there. That one's tabbed in. Oops, actually that's what I can do. I can try to bend it a little bit and angle it. So this can come in. Tab that in there. Really? Just do it for me, please. Try and get that past there and just trying to get it straightened. There we go. So that's plugged in there. I can't get that seat to hook tab properly. So, just know you're probably not going to be able to either. You might be able to. I could be wrong. All right, let's finish this up. So I don't know if you can see it. There's two black tabs on his knees. They go into two white ports. That one there. And that one's already in. Now, as for his crutch plate, you're going to flip it down and you're going to rotate. And that's going to sit in the gap. So just pull it back a little bit. And that locks in place. And we're almost done. So let's get down to the hands. Now, the hands tell you to rotate them. I'll show the instructions. Where are we? Yeah. So if I find the point in which it's got to plug in, okay, it's making a liar out of me. Apparently you have to do it 180. I'm not going to. Anyway, the problem is if you rotate them like it somewhat says, you end up with the fingers pointing out. I like to keep them folded in. So all you're going to do is you're going to bring this in. There's a tab here that's going to go in this port. So this is going to go in there. There's no hidey hole. And you just feel for it and squeeze, hoping that it lines up where it's supposed to. Right there. You might wiggle it a little bit. I think that's mostly where it's supposed to be. That can go into there. See if I can get that to tab in. It's a lot of feeling for things at this point. There's one. That's that one. Make sure that's flat how it's supposed to be. I have to angle it just a little bit. There we go. There it is. Of course, that comes down. And if you need to, then you can also squeeze your thrusters so they're where they're supposed to be. And there is buzzing / blur in his vehicle mode. Now, it's not a bad vehicle mode. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Like I said, if you had the hands the other way, you'd be seeing them. There's no wheels, so you can't roll it realistically. It doesn't look too bad. Yes, we have no shield like the G1 toy had, and that does not want to plug in very well. But it is what it is. You might have to compress a few things, but it does look nice, and the transformation isn't terrible. And I think there you go. My chest wasn't all the way in. It's not hard. It's just a little awkward. Let's call it awkward. Now, you can have Haywire sit in him, and I'm trying to remember how this works, because I think you're actually basically making him kneel. It's not actually sitting, it's kneeling, because there's not enough room in there for his legs to fit. So I think the idea is that these sort of plug in to Sue's spots. I'm trying to remember where. I think it's basically here. So yeah, he will not sit in there. Oh, hang on, where is it? Yeah, there's two pieces here, so it might be sideways. Oops. Slipped his arms up a little bit. The instructions don't say any of this. It doesn't tell you any about how the actual pieces sit. But basically, I can't remember how he actually situates, but he will fit. You just have to make him kneel. As for his weapons, you can fold that back, and it's getting very windy out there. But you need this tab here, and you can plug into either side. Although, admittedly, Haywire is a little bit in the way, but you can plug it in. There you go. It's just a bit better. You know, it would be nice if it could be aimed up. I'll do it this way so you can actually see it. So there you go. It will sit in there. So it would be useful to have an actual aiming-ish thing. So there we go. All right, so let's get down to size comparison. Here he is with, of course, the one and the only Windblade. So he is a pretty decent size bigger. So there we go. All right, let's get him back into robot mode so we can do the final size comparisons. And I will show to you my, what happened with this head. So first things first, I like to try to press these. I was going to say, usually I like to try to press them in, but for some reason these are like super tight. Could be just because of the hands. Anyway, so flip those up, and you're going to untab, or try to untab. You might need your tool, because we just need to get that joint to break. Now this is the point where I should have got me. Yep. I don't care if you don't want him, but you need to get a DX9 Gavolt. Alright, so I can come into here and try to get that separated. There we go. That's one. And two. We just bend these and slide these up so they get out of the way. We're going to get his crush plate out. Just get that back where it's supposed to be. So like so. And we're just going to pull up that. So then maybe that might give me some clearance. You really don't want to let go of that, do you? All right, so there we go. Yeah, it's easier to get it out than it is getting it in. So we're going to extend our legs, or our knees, I should say. Lift this all up out of the way, like so. And we'll get to that in a minute. Now, once again, you might need your part separator, but you need to bring this out. This is now easier in Alt mode, because now at least you can put some pressure onto that thruster and get it back in. Whereas before you really didn't have much of anything. So there we go, in. Even loosening that screw doesn't really help too much. So we can close that up and we can bring this all down. Close that up, bring it all down. We want to rotate this piece this way and then rotate this all the way around. So this way and then all the way around. Come back here. We might as well do the feet first just to give us some room for our thumbs. We are going to, and once again, I always forget which way this is supposed to go. But we're going to... So now I can't get it past that pin there. There we go. So we want, I think it's the bigger piece at the back. And then we can, actually that's probably what I should have done beforehand. I should have bent that piece first to give us a bit of room. So this goes this way. This comes around here and there's a little tab. It goes in the back of his foot. Fold that down, bring that back, make sure, nope, I have put it the wrong way around. It should be small piece to the back and big piece to the front, and that gives you your heel proper. So let's do this again. We're going to bring this back carefully. We're going to rotate that around like so. What did I say? We want a big piece? No. Yes. Was it? Yes. Big piece at the back. We want to bring this around, tab that in, bring that down, like so. Now we're going into a little groove. Nope, I do have it the wrong way around. Jesus. And I just did that too, didn't I? This is why I could never be a proper professional YouTuber. Because I'm atrocious. All right, so let's deal with this backpack. So we're going to pop these out. So we'll pop that down so we've got some clearance. Bring that out. Bring that out. We want to bring this up a little bit so we can flip that in, bring that down, and then we want to rotate it back around. Rotating is way easier. And then we can just flip this down, flip this down after it untabs, and we'll just leave it like that for a moment. All right, let's deal with the top half. So we are going to rotate this in. Whoops, rotate this in. Try that again. So I've rotated both his elbows in. We're going to untab his shoulders from here. And then we are going to split the front piece after we bring this down. And we're going to untab, and don't forget they're on rollers. So then we can bring the nose up, bring the other nose up, and we're not going to put them back in place just yet. And I'm going to just move the shoulders out of the way a little bit. All right, the moment that is the breakage. So when you pull on this, this is where this is going to collide with the piece there. And because of the tightness, just like that, straight through, bang, broken. Now I do have a little bit of a stress mark here, which I think is just because of the impact. But yeah, that sits on there, that goes through there. There is too much force and not enough clearance there to get that through. So you have two choices. You either break that off yourself, or you risk breaking this by shaving some off. I would prefer to take that off. So rotate there, rotate there. This comes back, providing his elbows are out of the way. And of course, these two ports are going to go over here. Now, you might be saying, well, Dave, maybe there's a slider in the head, which I forgot to mention. There is no slider. There's no backwards and forwards. That's just one screw holding it all in place. There's nowhere for it to move. So yeah, that's unfortunately not a thing. So that goes over and plugs in. We can bring the elbows back, shoulders back forward, and you're going to rotate these around and in, rotate around and in. This can all come down. There is a tab here that's going to go into one of these ports that I can't quite remember which one, but it will lock it into place. We can then extend this and we can rotate this and then rotate the forearm. So our arms, beg my pardon, are the right way round. So rotate, rotate. Our arms are properly organized now. As for the backpack, all we do is fold in, fold in. These aren't going to tab in anywhere. You have these two ports here. They're going to plug into the back of it. So that locks all that together. And then once again, you have that tab in there that I showed you before, which goes in there. Give it a nice push. And that's tabbed back in. And then you can articulate his arms the appropriate way. And there is buzzing back in his robot mode. So as I said, when it comes to that neck bit, I would rather break part of his mohawk off than lose it by damaging his face. Now, I've checked MGOs, I've checked Bobby Skullfaces, and they all both do it without any breakage. So I'm not sure if there was something in the first gen version that resolved that problem and they did something in the second generation. I don't know. All I know is I broke it, so just be aware of it. Right, so we can do final size comparisons. So here we go. Put them over there. They can get out of the way. We've already, well, why not? There is Haywire, as I said before. I know I said I already recorded him on the title screen, but the thumbnail, but oh well. There he is with Fans Toys' Recoil, which I don't remember I don't even know if they gave him a name. And here he is with MP10. So he's almost as tall as MP10. He's just shorter. I would get him off the shelf, but I'd have to pull most of my shelf apart. He's a little bit shorter than X-Transpot's Springer. He's way taller than MP24 Hot Rod. And he's probably about the right size for Fans Toys Cup. But like I said, I'd have to pull a whole lot off my shelf to get him out. So there is that. So there we go. Now, I will admit that once again, I would have wished to have gotten the original release for this, just for the white for the top and a bit of yellow that they attach to like knees and crotch and all that. But personally, I'm happy. Despite the breakage, the transformation is pretty semi-decent. It's not terrible. It's not nightmare-inducing. It's a little fiddly, but a little fiddle's never been a problem. So yeah, there you go. So if you want to get the Fans Toys, go nuts. If you want any of the other ones, go nuts. But personally, this guy is definitely my Blurr for my shelf. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. I do check my analytics, and not a lot of you who watch my videos are subscribed, so make sure you do. But apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.